Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Adam the Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Exit the Game Lord of the Rings Shadows over Middle-earth, an escape room style puzzle by Kosmos. Lord of the Rings scarcely needs an introduction. It's one of the best-selling pieces of fiction literature in human history. Depending on the statistics being used, it's almost certainly within the top 5, with only Don Quixote and A Tale of Two Cities definitively defeating it. I will be avoiding spoilers as much as possible, but all the same, Shadows over Middle-earth does spoil the basic plot of the trilogy. If you've not yet read the novels, or at the very least watched the Peter Jackson films, you may want to consider picking another Exit title in its place, of which there are currently dozens to choose from. Without further ado, let's dive in and take a look. Before you get started, you'll need to gather some components from outside the game. You'll need some paper to write on, a ruler so you can make straight lines, scissors to cut, and a pen and pencil to write. You'll also want a stopwatch of some sort. I'll be using my phone, although there's also an app you can download specifically for the game. I'll be sure to link to that in the description below. The game comes with a number of different components that you'll need to play. First and foremost, you'll need the riddle spinner, as well as the riddle booklet. You'll also want to make sure that all other components are present before beginning. You'll have a door piece, a map of Middle-earth, a transparency piece, and 5 cardboard punch-outs. Go ahead and punch out the pieces, but you won't be using them until later. Make sure to fold each of the black riders so that they stand upright. In all, you should have 7 fragments, 8 mountains, and 9 black riders. For now, go ahead and set these pieces aside, but make sure they're within easy reach for later. You'll also have a deck of cards which you'll need to separate into 3 piles before you play. First off, you'll need the riddle cards, which should be in alphabetical order. Secondly, you'll need the blue answer cards, which should be in numerical order from 1 to 30. Thirdly, you'll also have Gandalf's hint cards. You'll turn these over one at a time when you need a clue for a puzzle. Double check and make sure that they're arranged so that each first clue is on top of its respective second clue, which in turn is on top of its solution card. Now that you understand how to play, go ahead and take the riddle book and turn it to the first page. Go ahead and read through the text, and once you're done, you'll notice that at the bottom of the page, it lists riddle card A. At that point, you'll take the respective riddle card and flip it over. So we can see here that the first riddle uses a square. Once we think we have the answer, we spin the dial to match. We use the square at the top, then put the numbers in order from outermost to innermost. So if we thought the code was 2, 5, and 9, we would go like this, and then we would check card 8. What do you know? A completely blind guess was wrong. Sometimes you'll find one of these cards, which means you may be right. You'll see a picture and a symbol. Find the one that pertains to the current puzzle, and that'll tell you which card to use to check if your answer is correct. As you probably already surmised, you will be cutting and writing. Exit titles are only meant to be used once, but they are very clear about this on the box. The game took my sister and I about 2 hours, and at a $20 MSRP, that's still less than it would have cost us to get a couple of movie tickets. There were a total of 10 puzzles in the game, but most, if not all of them, had multiple steps to go through. And on top of that, all of them did feel quite unique from one another. The game is listed as a 2 out of 5 on Exit's difficulty scale, and as our first Exit title, we did struggle a bit at times, especially during the mid-game when the puzzles were starting to get trickier. As we approached the endgame, we did eventually get more used to the designer's mode of thinking, although we did end up using a handful of those hint cards along the way. I'm sure some of you are scratching your heads and wondering how some of those components are relevant, but rest assured that every piece is used in the game. As such, make sure that you don't throw away anything until you are done with your adventure. The game is listed as being for 1 to 4 players, but I really don't see why you couldn't do it with a larger group. The only real challenge with more players would be making sure that everybody gets a chance to see and attempt to solve the puzzles along the way. All in all, Shadows over Middle-earth is an enjoyable little title. Thematically, it does a pretty interesting job of adapting the lore and story to the puzzles as required. The story is nothing new, and once again, I do recommend choosing another Exit title if you've not yet read or watched Lord of the Rings. And for those of you who are familiar with the story, there is a little Easter egg with the hint cards as they change the backs of them about halfway through. Like any escape room title, once you've solved the puzzles, even if you've somehow managed to avoid cutting and folding like you're supposed to, you've already solved them and there's really nothing else to come back to. It's meant as a one-time playthrough and that's it. That being said, the puzzles were fun and really clever at times. There was only one that my sister and I felt was partially unfair. That being said, we did have a lot of fun, and in the end, I find Exit the Game, Lord of the Rings Shadows over Middle-earth to be worth of a solid 7.4 out of 10. If you're interested in purchasing this or any other Exit title, I first suggest checking with your friendly local game store to see if they keep it in stock. If you're unable to find it, or simply wish to learn more, links are included in the description. But what about you? What do you think of Shadows over Middle-earth? What Exit titles do you recommend? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And if you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.